Hi there. Hello. Hi. Hi, Christina. So I wanted to introduce an idea. Hi, Theo. I was thinking that maybe on the weekends I would be going live at noon EST instead of 7:30 p.m. because that way it'd be easier to break down my day. Hi, Brandy. That way it'd be easier to break down my day. And also that way, more of you from Europe will be able to watch. So another thing is because I am pretty certain that the majority of the people who are in Europe can't usually make it to the news streams when I do them at 7:30 EST, at 7:30 p.m. EST. I would maybe do a recap of everything that happened during the week on Saturdays. How would you feel about that? If you guys are on YouTube, I will create a poll. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Tammy. I will create a poll on YouTube. If you guys are not following me on YouTube, please do so. There is going to be a video shopping guide for Ukraine coming out tonight. And also with all of the TikTok potentially being banned again, it's good to have a backup. And I also do simultaneous streams every day on YouTube and TikTok. So if you do prefer that platform, please make sure to follow me there. My YouTube is the same as all of my other social media as this one. And also you can find it connected to my profile. So I'm going to put the poll up on YouTube if you'd like to vote in it. Sunday lives at 12:30 EST at 12 EST plus weekly recap. So let me know if you're interested in that. Hi, Pixie Chaser. Thank you. So are Russians getting you banned? No, Russians are not, but there is talk that the United States is asking the United States government wants to ban TikTok again, so that might happen. We don't know if it will, but it might. So it's good to have a backup. 1, 2. I realized that I do streams at 7:30 p.m. EST, which is like pretty late for Europe, right? But that's what works for me during the day, during the weekdays. But during the weekends, it would be much better for me if I could do YouTube streams around like 12:30 noon, like 12:30. Hi, Jennifer, and hi, Karine. So if you guys are okay with that, let me know. And I would also do like weekly recaps on Saturday, so of everything that happened during the week. We have 98 updates today, and I'm going to do the news now because I do have to do a lot of stuff today and continue editing my YouTube video. Hi, Maris. And continue editing my YouTube videos that is coming out late tonight. So it would be much easier for me if I did the news right now. Also, I wanted to let you guys know who have been following the package story. So for those of you who have been following the package story, I want to ask you if you have ordered something from the Amazon wish list for the package and for the arrival of the package, and it was delivered today, or it is going to be delivered today. Could you please send me on Instagram or Patreon either like a tracking link or like a screenshot of when? Because Sundays are messy, and it would be good for me to just know when to go downstairs and like pick it up right away. One of the things arrived today. One of the things arrived today, and it's the monitor. It's the monitor stand. I will show it to you. It's really good because now there is even more space on this desk. Thank you, Brandy. Now there is even more space on this desk, and now I feel like everything is like really coming together, and there's no, like you can work here, and there is like lots of space for work, and the thing is raised, and there is space to put like notebooks. I'm gonna go out today and go get there is this store in downtown, and it's called Goods for the Study, and it's one of my favorite stores on the planet. I love notebooks of different kinds. Oh, Jason, you missed the disco ball yesterday, okay? Xena Solo is okay. She has a Patreon, and she has a Twitter where she's pretty active. So if you guys want to follow her, or you guys want to see what's going on, she's there. Okay, so Jason, yesterday, first of all, we aimed the light at the disco ball, and it looks really cool, but you can't see it right now. But I did a whole story time on this disco ball yesterday because it's super high up, and I'm really impatient. So I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do this myself. So I took a super tall ladder, like the tallest one that I had. I think it's like 6 foot tall. And I climbed on top of it with a broom, and I put the disco ball on a string on top of the broom, and I like hooked it onto the hook, and it worked. So yeah, so I figured it out. Okay, the power of Ukrainian women. We are crafty. We are very crafty. So Xena Solo has a Patreon, and she's like semi-active there. Thank you, Karine. Here, the disco ball is there. It's still awesome. It actually, Jason, like the vibe that it creates in the room is so good. My friend was literally, so my friend is a lighting designer, and he moved to Seattle a couple of months ago. And yesterday, actually, we did a crossword puzzle all on live together. So it was like a little bit of trivia, but we did the New York Times Sunday puzzle all together because that's what David does every day. But David works in lighting design, and so he came over, and I was like, oh, this disco ball, and I have this like light aiming at it, and he's like, Yulia, this is not where this light should be standing for it to like create the best effect. And so he like rearranged everything, and now every time that I turn on that light, the disco ball like projects these. It just looks so like ephemeral, and it's so cozy. So it's like I don't know. It turned out really cool. If he does, if Package doesn't like it, I'm gonna have to show him the video of me and David figuring this whole thing out, and I'm gonna have to show him the video of me and David having that gigantic box. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show you something so funny right now. Because I don't know if Jason, you definitely didn't make it to that. Basically, at some point yesterday, I was showing all of the boxes I had. So this is me and David trying to throw out all of the boxes because there's one gigantic box and boxes inside of that box. And this is what it looked like. 1 second. So this is literally like the biggest box, and that's not even all of them. I still have a ton of boxes in my house that I need to throw out. So this was just like a chunk of it, okay? So I'm gonna so when Package arrives, if Package is like, oh, this room is okay, I'll be like, listen, buddy. I'm kidding. I'm obviously not gonna be like that, but also I'm gonna be torn because there's been so much work done on this freaking room. No, I have not moved. Someone will at you and explain it to you. I just don't want to say it out loud because I had so many times, and we are kind of on like a sneaky mission here. Oh worries. No worries, Brandy. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Oh my gosh, such a little detail. Most of the room is ready, so it's all good. Up room. But yes, so there's that. Also, I think like maybe I should let people know on Discord or something. Squirrel, are you here? Or somebody who's on Discord. Hi, James. Also, James, did you know that we have a Discord and we wanted to add you into the if you'd like to, we wanted to add you into the Discord mod chat. If you would want to. So yes, I just don't know. Do you live in the US or the UK? In the US. I live in the US. Also, James, you missed that part, but you probably missed that part. What's its face? You probably missed that part, but I'm gonna start doing lives on Saturdays and Sundays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern because it's just easier to break down my day that way. And that way European people can get in. And I'm also going to start doing weekly summaries on Saturdays. So like everything, or Sundays, probably Sundays, honestly, everything that has happened from like Monday to Sunday. Actually, no, Saturdays. Let's do Sunday to Saturday. Yeah, let's do Saturday summaries. Like before the news, we will go over everything that happened that week. So yeah. And yeah, and also look, James, I know that you're going to appreciate it because desk organization, see, now there is so much more space here. And I also have these like little sneaky cable holders. So for all the cables. Hi guys. I was informed by one of my moderators that you were trying to reach out to me, the Change for Ukraine. I know that you are providing relief to Kharkiv. One of the things that I was going to say is a friend of mine has an organization that is also, I have an Instagram. He meant probably on Instagram. My Instagram DMs are open, but I would love to chat. I would love to chat with you. The thing is that I heard you are providing relief for Kharkiv. I am currently working with my friend, Charlie, as you guys might remember, who was one of the creators of Mission Kharkiv, which is also providing relief for Kharkiv. And so I am happy to help with what I can, but you wish to find more people to support. If you have an Instagram, my Instagram handle is the same as this, and my DMs are open. So if you would like to reach out to me, I would love to talk to you and find out a little bit more, because as of right now, I'm not really quite sure. What's going on. So, and I feel like it's much easier to talk through DMs than to talk through like comments on here. Do you work with charity organizations for Ukraine? Yes, I have a charity organization that me and my friends created. The name of the organization is returnofchildhood.ua. And it basically helps kids in Ukraine who have suffered the war reintegrate, and we get supplies for them and stuff like that. And originally I was doing fundraisers for it, but what I have done is I have partnered up with a couple of brands from Ukraine, from a couple of brands from Ukraine, like Lamar Bags. So Lamar Bags is donating 10% of the profits to Return of Childhood. There is also another brand, Affini Kids, who are also going to be distributing some percentage of the profits to Return of Childhood. And I haven't actually talked about it yet. on live because there's like some details that we're straightening out, but I will announce that. But basically, I'm partnering up with some Ukrainian brands where they will be, if the people come from my page, they will be donating those profits to the organization. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't want to keep asking people to donate, and there's so many different causes, and I'm honestly torn between different causes to donate to, because I get Instagram DMs all the time with people asking to help them, and it's like, I only have so much reach and I only have so much of an audience, and I can't keep like doing that, so I figured that there needs to be a more efficient way of gathering donations, and I feel like partnering up with brands and having them donate parts of profits to the causes of my choosing, if people are coming through my page, is probably a much better idea at this point. So that's what I've done, and that's what I've been doing. I've been reaching out to more Ukrainian brands, and I'll be reaching out to basically any brand in the future that wants to partner up with me. I will have a requirement that they have to donate part of the profits to a certain organization in Ukraine. Героям слава, дякую. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Okay, are we ready for the news cycle today? Because we have 98 updates, and we're gonna start from something not very great, unfortunately, but we'll start with a song as per usual. But okay, let's see. Grabbing the best. So this song is, I really want to see this one. Oh my, come on, what's going on? On Spotify, what's going on?
По-моему, чувак, нас кинули.
Oh, awesome. Awesome, Brandy. Na 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 na. Державі кораблі так хотіли, щоб був колись тут рай, але зрозуміли, що нас просто кинули, як лохи розстали за спинами, діла свої зробили, злили нас, мене з тобою разом в унітаз, злили нас тут просто кинули, як лохи розстали за спинами. Злили нас, мене з тобою разом в унітаз, злили нас. Well, I don't use Russian language because I'm Ukrainian and I speak Ukrainian fluently, so there is no need for me to use Russian, and I feel like I hope that everyone adapts that mindset who's Ukrainian. Не тільки я один посідає поїзд, і втікне хто куди, так шукає щастя, інший хто-небудь посеред ворон, які не дякують, а нас тут просто кинули. Hi, Moldova. Hi, Sammy. За спинами, діла свої зробили, злили нас. З тобою разом в унітаз, просто кинули, як лохи розвели за спинами, діла свої The real is living us. Ciao. Bonitas. Stop in a way. Get away. Stop in a way. Get away. Stop in a way. Ukrainian and Russian are not. Ukrainian and Russian being super similar is a misconception. Ukrainian and Russian have 62% syntactical similarity, so it's barely above 50%, as opposed to, let's say, Spanish and Italian that have 82% syntactical similarity. Actually, Russian language does not come from Slavic languages, and Russian people are not Slavic. They are Finnish Hungarian. And Russian people, Russia is trying to pose itself as Slavs, but realistically, actually, they have nothing to do with the Slavic nations. And Russian language does not derive from Slavic languages. So Karine, the name of the song is Kinle, and it's on my Spotify playlist, and it's connected to my Beacons AI. It's like if you scroll down a little bit, it's over there. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna let you know what the song is about, because actually I think that that the song is very, very important, and it's and the lyrics. So I'm gonna bear with me. I'm gonna explain the song, and then we're gonna do who knows Russian, they can understand Ukrainian. Not really, because Ukrainian is very much different than Russian. They can understand specific words from Ukrainian, but not the whole language, because it's incredibly different. And again, like syntaxically, it's 62% similarity, which is not that much. And no, Ukrainian people can understand Russian because we have been imposed it. But Russian people very rarely understand Ukrainian, and mostly don't understand it. They understand particular things, but they don't understand the whole thing, especially if you speak fast. Meanwhile, Ukrainians do understand Russian, not because it's similar, but because in the Soviet Union, we were forced to speak Russian. Ukrainian is very close. Yeah. Ukrainian is pretty close to Belarusian, and Ukrainian is pretty close to Polish. Those languages derive from the same language group. But so this song is called Kinule, which means like we were thrown away. And Kinule is like slang. It's like, oh, I've been stood up. So like when Kinule means I've been stood up, and it's slang, right? So this song is very interesting because it's like, it was written in, I will tell you what year it was. It was 2015. And it was basically about the state of Ukraine, and about the revolution, and about, how we have been building our country up, and we have been wanting to make it like the best country in the world. Yet we've had like Yanukovych and all of these lovely politicians politicians that, didn't want Ukraine to prosper. They just wanted to connect to Russia and make money off of us. And so, guys, I think that was a girl. The person that you just blocked, Ashley Gutcher, that's a girl, and they just followed me, and I think they genuinely wanted to see the dress. I don't think it was a creepy thing. So if you would like to bring them back, please do. But so these noises. But basically, this song is very important to Ukrainian culture because basically the song is talking about how we have been working on making Ukraine really great and stuff like that. And the lyrics, like, you'll understand it from the lyrics, basically. I have a country, and I really loved it. I loved it for these flower eyes and people who are ships. Ships isn't like deep, as in like there is a lot to them. I've been living here half my life. I've been living with my country half my life because he was in like his 40s, I think. So like, half a life. And I've been laying there on the warm soil. And now it's really scary here. I don't love it anymore. There are gloomy gray eyes and rusty ships. We really wanted to have a heaven here, but then we realized that we were just stood up. We were like idiots stood up behind our backs. And then they did everything they wanted to do, and then they basically flushed us down the toilet. And this is about our government at the time. And it's a really beautiful song because he's talking about how, Ukrainians in Ukraine were always working towards like Ukraine being amazing, and that our people, we have these like bright eyes with like bright future in them, right? And there's so much depth to it. First of all, Russian and Ukrainian are not 60 to 70% similar. They're 62% similar. And I also don't know why you feel the need to specify that, because, and also please don't use caps. Nobody likes when people yell. It's a respectful space. Like, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, calm down. Okay. But also, like, it doesn't matter how similar they are. They're not the same language, and they're also not related. So there we go. And also, a lot of Russian words have been stolen from Ukrainian, like praporshik. Prapor is a flag in Ukrainian. In Russian, a flag is flag. And it should have been flagovshik, but it's praporshik. Also, Russian Duma, which is Russian parliament. Duma is not a word in Russian, it's a word in Ukrainian, and it means thought. In Russian, it's мысль. But yet, Russian parliament is called Duma, and it's been called Duma for centuries. And you know why? Because it's been stolen off of Ukrainian, and the language derived from Ukrainian. Yeah, exactly. Yorkshire in England speaks the same language as Americans, but I can barely understand them. Well, I have a harder issue with Manchester. Manchester is like hard. Yeah, my family is safe. They're in Lviv. Thank you. I'm misleading the public. From the very beginning, sir, I said 62% similar. You repeated me and then went ahead to like say this weird stuff that makes no sense. You said the same thing as I did, yet you were trying to contradict my statement. You're misleading people. Okay, Russian bot. Have a good day. But so yeah, this was the song basically that I think it's like a very important song. I think it's a very beautiful song, and I think it shows the disappointment after what happened in 2014. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that that's a very important song, and I think it has a lot of contextual meaning, and I think it really shows how Ukrainians were feeling after everything happened, because we just realized that, okay, this government has never really been trying to help us. This government never really like worked for us. They were just working for themselves and using us. And so, yeah, that was really sad. Okay, Russia attacks Odessa rest bases again on the evening of July 2nd. An X-31 rocket was fired again from an Su-30 fighter jet at the Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky district of Odessa region, hitting the economic buildings of a coastal recreation center. There was no significant damage or flare-up, OC South said in a report. There were no fatalities or injuries so far. About 800,000 people were left without housing, or the aforementioned housing requires serious repairs, MP Olena Shulyak. At the same time, at the moment, 220,000 Ukrainians have applied through the application DIA for compensation for housing lost as a result of the war. Now the cabinet of ministers has already allocated 1.4 billion hryvnias to solve the housing issue. So in DIA, our super future forward app that I've mentioned before, you can apply for basically, like there was COVID relief, you can apply for war relief, and war relief comes in three different actually modes. So one is for businesses that have been affected by the war, but I mean in like war zones, people who had to relocate, they get a stipend of sorts. And then another type of relief is housing. You can report damages to your housing, and if it was completely destroyed, the government will help you like rebuild it or move somewhere. So 220,000 people have applied for housing. The Ukrainian armed forces repulsed attempts of Russian troops to attack in the directions of Prudyanka, Mazanivka, Bologorivka. A rotation of units of the armed forces of Belarus in the Brest region has begun since July 1st. The air defense system is being strengthened by units of the Eastern Military District of the Russian Armed Forces. In the Donetsk direction, the occupying forces are concentrating their efforts on consolidating their positions near Lysychansk and Barkhnakamenka. In the Bakhmut direction, the enemy is trying to conduct an offensive near Spornog. Fighting continues. The enemy is trying to improve the tactical situation near the Spartak settlement with assault actions. The invaders shelled their military positions along the entire front line. There are 2 carriers of sea-launched cruise missiles of the caliber type in the readiness to use missile weapons in the Black Sea. The Air Force of the AFU worked in virtually all areas of combat operations. About 20 enemy equipment and 2 field ammunition depots were destroyed. Russian troops have entered Lysychansk and advanced within the city limits. According to the American Institute for War Studies, the invaders are advancing southwest of Lysychansk. They are likely to advance westward towards Seversk and take over the Luhansk region completely. More totals from Institute for the Study of War on the morning of July 3rd. Russian forces continued unsuccessful ground attacks north of Slovyansk. The invaders conducted limited attacks southwest of Donetsk. No success was achieved. Ukrainian forces plan to threaten Russian ground communications throughout the Kharkiv region using Western weapons. Ukrainian counterattacks and guerrilla activity are forcing the enemy to prioritize defensive operations along the southern front. Also, quick little thing that I wanted to say. So, do you remember the Ukrainian American spy cookies? The 5 of them that I have. So, one of them has been shipped out to Tammy. One of them has been shipped out to Pamela, and I've been basically picking who it goes to based on like random things, and I couldn't pick the 3 next recipients of those cookies. And so David gave me a great idea yesterday. So as far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Juju and Jen have filled in most of the blanks yesterday on the crossword puzzle. So I'm thinking that Juju and Jen should be the ones getting the 2 other spy cookies, and then we are left with 1. And so I know Jen's address. Juju, I'm not sure that I know your address. I think I do. So if I do, let me know. And please, or just send me your address on Patreon, and you will be receiving the spy cookie. And Jen, I know your address, so hopefully you will receive the spy cookie, because the mail between us seems to not be working very well. Deathly allergic to wheat, yes. Spy cookie? Oh yeah, do you want to see what a spy cookie is? Oh my gosh, 1 second. Wait, it's a limited edition of cookies that Anastasia made. Anastasia is my aunt, and she is incredibly talented. And so this is the logo for my channel, and this is a spy cookie. Jen is taking a nap. Okay, well, then let's surprise Jen. Theo, don't tell her yet then, if Jen is taking a nap, unless Jen rewatches the YouTube video and then she is just gonna know, but yeah. So I think this is oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel as well, because I stream in both and then I release some videos on YouTube. YouTube will also get a little more action soon. So I wanted to reiterate, I am going to post a Patreon schedule that I'm actually going to adhere to, because I finally figured out how I can work 3 social media platforms without being like lost in space and without it being way too many videos to film. So sometime this week, I'm gonna put forward the schedule. I just want to make sure that it actually does work. And Zena, what? And yeah, and this is basically, there's going to be like a release schedule. And also, I'm going to go back to the news in a second, but you know what Cindy did today? You know what Cindy did? You know what Cindy did. So I was eating a watermelon. I wasn't really like I was minding my own business. I gave Cindy 2 pieces of watermelon. She was happy, and then I had to run downstairs to check on something, and so I forgot. Usually I put the watermelon away, but also usually Cindy does not dare to eat my food. Doesn't dare. And so I run downstairs and I come back, and the plate of watermelon, and I mean like the whole plate, is gone. And it was like topped off. It was like a little mountain of watermelon. My entire couch is covered in watermelon. Covered in watermelon. Yeah. And Cindy is sitting there like, and I was like, you little asshole. So Cindy is not getting dinner tonight because you've had enough food, and I also know that you are probably going to quite literally poop yourself with the amount of watermelon you ate, you little creature. Yeah, I know watermelon is diuretic, which is why Cindy's not getting dinner tonight, because Cindy is going to quite literally, wasn't an intruder. Yeah, so her entire face being covered in watermelon really doesn't identify that it was her, right? Like, that was just a coincidence. That was a tiny little coincidence. Yeah, that definitely will be rough later. Thank you guys. Thank you for all of your condolences to my night, because I know that it's going to basically be just walking Cindy, I'm excited. I'm very excited for tonight. Oh my gosh. Okay. Russians consolidate in Lysychansk area, city in flames. Head of Luhansk Army, Serhiy Haidai. The invaders are suffering significant losses, but are persistently advancing. They entrench themselves in the city as well as in Verkhnekamenka and continue to destroy settlements. Last 24 hours, rescuers extinguished fires in apartment buildings and private homesteads, a store and another shopping mall. A wounded woman was hospitalized in Dnipro hospital. The Russian army's shelling affected Zolotarivka and Bologhorivka. A hostile offensive was repelled near the latter. Also, I've mentioned this, sorry, I interrupt myself so many times, but I've mentioned this a couple of times yesterday, but sometimes there are people that won't make it onto the stream. So I wanted to reiterate this because I want to be as transparent as possible. Everything from the wish list for the package has been purchased. So anything that's on the wish list now is not for the package. I don't want you to buy something thinking it would be for him, and it's actually for me. So I just wanted to let you know that everything has been purchased from the wish list, and even the Polaroid. And you guys are amazing and wonderful and just the best. And I just I just wanted to let you know, so you know that that the package is very set. Everything is good. everything has been purchased, and you guys are wonderful. I wonder who got the Polaroid. Who got the Polaroid? Who got the Polaroid? Tell me. Tell me. Okay. Oh, Melitopol airfield is on fire, where Russian invaders have a base. Mass media. The mayor of Melitopol confirmed the destruction of the invaders' bases in Melitopol. Oh, you did? You did? Thank you. That's so sweet. That is so incredibly sweet. Thank you so much. The mayor of Melitopol confirmed the destruction of one of the invaders' bases in Melitopol. Overnight, the AFU took out one of the 4 military bases of the invaders in Melitopol. We carried out more than 30 strikes exclusively on the Russian military base. Also, according to him, yesterday, thanks to the resistance forces, a Russian armored train with ammunition went off the rails. Cześć. Now the invaders are trying to make provocations that there was shelling of peaceful areas. Civilians suffered and the city's infrastructure was destroyed. This did not happen, Fedorov said. Here are some videos of of the Russian ammunition bases?
Вот так. Первая точка, вторая, третья, четвертая. Разъебашь. Молодцы.
So yeah, this is these are Melitopol airfields on fire where Russian invaders have bases. The front line has moved more than 50 kilometers away from Kryvyi Rih, says Alexander Vikul, head of the Kryvyi Rih city administration. Now the line of demarcation runs inside the Kherson region. Glory to the armed forces of Ukraine. So the front line has been pushed back 50 kilometers. So when Russians say that they're making progress in eastern Ukraine, they mean that they have pushed armed forces of Ukraine 5 kilometers back. This is 50 kilometers that we have pushed, Heroyam Slava, that we have pushed the invaders back. And mind you, we are outnumbered 10-1. And we're basically conducting warfare on an equal level. So one of the reasons why we are not super worried with what's going to happen is because once Ukraine gets all the weapons that we need and once we can transfer more military over, Russia has no chance. Because right now it's 10 soldiers to 1 soldier, 10 Russians to 1 Ukrainian, and we're still managing to push them back. So we're on equal playing fields. Meanwhile, we're 10 times outnumbered. And they have more artillery than we do, as in they have more weapons than we do in that region. Ukraine is like doing really well. And so to people, whenever I hear, media, especially in the West, saying things like, oh, Russia is succeeding, or, oh, Russia is making advances, like, guys, what advances? 5 kilometers in 3 months? That's a very, 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 not even, it's not even arbitrary, but that's a tiny bit of progress in 3 months, especially when you're outnumbering your opponent by 10 times. What success is there with the Russian army? They got 1 city? That's crazy. Today at 4:00, Russian invaders shelled Kharkiv. Head of Kharkiv Regional Military Administration, Oleksandr Hubov. Rockets hit one of the objects of critical infrastructure of the Kyiv district. Preliminary without casualties. Also, the enemy hit a private house in the Novobarsky district. Windows in the building and in the adjacent school were broken. The 54-year-old woman in the house was injured. Chuhuyev, Kharkiv, Bohodukhov, and Izum districts were shelled in the region during the day. In total, during the day in the region, 4 people were injured from shelling. Russian invaders shelled the Dnipropetrovsk region again. On the morning, the enemy hit Kryvyi Rih district. Several times hit a country house area in Zelenodolsk. 3 houses were destroyed, 1 damaged. Preliminarily, people were not injured, said the head of Dnipropetrovsk Army, Valentin Reznichenko. Russians killed 4 people in the Donetsk region in the past 24 hours. Civilians were killed in Orlovka, Novo-Nikolaevka, Krasnohorivka, and Slavyansk. 5 more people were injured, including 2 children in Dobropilya. Videos and photos show the consequences of the invaders' strikes onto the area.
Ну одноэтажный, да? Ну одноэтажный, да?
In Russian Belgorod, parts of Panzer air defense systems were found at the site of night explosions. Russian media even published photos and videos with this short-range anti-aircraft missile system. And here is a discrepancy. Ukraine does not have such an air defense system in service. But do you know where it is? In Russia. So they're basically framing themselves because these are the fragments of the shells that Russia has received in Belgorod they were trying to frame Ukraine for. But Ukraine does not have these missiles, and they're openly showing this on Russian TV. Like, they're idiots. I understand that Russian people believe them, right? But they're trying to make the world believe it too. And it's like, guys, you're stupid. You're literally like, you are giving up your own plans. You're giving yourself in. Like, you gotta, I can't even, honestly. Well, you don't gotta do better because really, like, do I care? No, please show us exactly who you are and how you're doing this. But at the same time, like, God, how can you be so stupid? In the morning, as a result of shelling in Pervomaisk, Mykolaiv region, a residential building and garages caught fire. Vitaly came about the shelling of the region over the past day and morning. According to the State Emergency Service, 27 fires were recorded in the Mykolaiv region over the past day, 5 of which are associated with hostilities. There were photos of the consequences of the morning shelling in Kharkiv. Hi, Melissa. Russian missiles flew into the territory of a private house. The house itself and the nearby educational institution were partially damaged. The owner of the house, a 54-year-old woman, was hospitalized. British intelligence update as of July 3rd. Russian-backed officials have said that they will hold a referendum on Kherson Oblast joining the Russian Federation by autumn 2022. Yeah, we're gonna get you out of there by then. Russia is likely prioritizing a pseudo-constitutional vote in an attempt to legitimize its control over the region. On June 28, 2022, Ihor Kolykhayev, the elected mayor of Kherson City, was arrested, highly likely in an attempt to suppress opposition to the occupation. However, widespread armed and peaceful resistance. My iPhone has overheated once again, as per usual. We love when that happens, don't we? Don't we? Don't we love that? Oh my gosh, give me a second. Cindy is a little mischief. Yes, she is. Ukrainian soldiers are the best, so courageous and united. Slava Ukraini, Ukraina Paramoja. Thank you. I really do appreciate that incredibly. So thank you so much for saying that. Oh my gosh, this phone. How does that happen? My phone overheated, Cat. Always. My phone, as always, no, TikTok did not freeze, James. It's my phone that overheated. That's pretty much exactly what happens all the time. We know that this is just, this is just how my life works. Unfortunately, I cannot have a single newscast without my phone acting out. Oh, it's back. It's still hot, but it's back. I love this.
Hi, guys.
Ah. Hi guys, sorry, my phone overheated as per usual. On June 28, 2022, Ihor Kolykhayev, the elected mayor of Kherson City, was arrested, highly likely in an attempt to suppress opposition to the occupation. However, widespread armed and peaceful resistance continues across occupied areas. Kherson is the region which has been brought under the Russian occupation most comprehensively since February. Finding a constitutional solution for the occupation is likely a priority policy objective for Russia. It will highly likely be prepared to rig voting to achieve an acceptable result. However, we're almost back in Kherson region, and therefore I do not think that Russia will have a chance to even do that, because we're going to be able to probably storm Kherson before that, and we're probably going to be able to push out the Russian army before that referendum that they are planning on holding. So Severodonetsk now looks like this. Fierce battles have been going on in the city for about a month. The city is destroyed. It looks very similar to what Mariupol looks like, unfortunately. An ice pack under a cookie sheet. Ooh, that's a good idea. You know what, Jason? I'm gonna...
Військова служба за контрактом. Захисники.
I have an ice pack that's dog safe. More than 986 children suffered as a result of the armed aggression of the Russian Federation in Ukraine. 344 children died and more than 642 were injured of varying severity. Russia expectedly accused Ukraine of shelling Belgorod and Kursk. The Russian Defense Ministry said at night, Kyiv launched a strike with .U missiles with cluster munitions and Tu-143 drones on residential areas of Belgorod and Kursk. Note that there is no confirmation of this. But earlier, the media published parts of the Panzer air defense system found in the sites of the nighttime explosion in Belgorod. Such air defense systems are used by Russia. They're not used in Ukraine. As for Belgorod, according to the local governor, 4 people died, 3 of whom were allegedly Kharkiv residents who moved to the city since Russia invaded Ukraine. 4 more were injured. Affected 21 apartment buildings and 40 private buildings. Okay, James, if you could send it to me. If you could, thank you for doing that. If you could send me, is it like the black one that's rigged, the case? I think I've seen it on online before. I think I've seen it on Amazon. It's like a rigged black one, right? James to the rescue, always. Updated map of the situation in the eastern Ukraine, according to the European war experts. In their opinion, the invaders took control of Novodruzhsk and Zolotarivka. Also, probably the Russian army was able to capture Lysychansk. Probably most, if not all, of the APU forces have already retreated. From the positive side, Ukrainian troops advanced in the north of the Kherson region and recaptured another settlement. Please note that the information needs to be confirmed. We have been and will be together with Fraternal Russia. Our participation in this special operation was determined by me long ago. On the first day of the start of this operation, when I said we will not allow anyone to shoot a Russian man in the back. Lukashenko. Practically, Lukashenko admitted the participation of Belarus in the war against Ukraine, so they're probably going to get sanctioned now, even more than they already are, which is great. Russian troops shelled Kramatorsk, Donetsk region with MLRS Smerch. It is also known that Russian troops fired at Slaviansk, Donetsk region on the video, specifically explosions in Slaviansk. There might be hits of residential buildings. Update, massive shelling of Slaviansk, the largest ever, many killed and wounded, Mayor Vadim Lyakh. So, oh, yes, this is still the same thing.
Ебать прилеты. Ебать пидорасы. Блядь, ебать там дымится нахуй.
So yeah, lovely news coming out of Ukraine today. Let me see something. I am going to boom, boom. Poofy award. How do I am Slava? Oh, this one, Otterbox. James, you were talking about the Otterbox one, right? 13 Pro. Yeah, but see, the problem with this one is that I have a 13 Pro, and a 12 Pro and a 13 Pro are different, and I think that it doesn't fit the phone that I do have, which is the problem. I'm good. How are you guys? I am. I do need to. I need to go grab the ice pack, and I need to use the restroom really quick. So if you don't mind holding on for a second, I will be back in a minute. I will. I would show you Cindy, but unfortunately, Cindy is like in such a location that it'd be hard for me to show her. So if you steal another watermelon or something, I will, I will eat you. I will eat you. Will eat you. So I will be back in a second. Alrighty, let's try this out. I do have a cooling pack, and it does work with dogs. Not that Cindy has access to here right now, but let's see. Okay, so I did put like a literal ice pack behind my phone, so let's hope that it'll help. Okay, I'm back. Photos of Zmienny Island appeared. The photos were taken on June 29, 2022. Russian aviation takes part in the evacuation of the Russian military from the island. The armed forces of Ukraine helped to accelerate towards a goodwill gesture. So yeah, it wasn't a goodwill gesture. Russians were pushed out of Zmienny Island. Kyiv will have to understand the conditions of the Russian Federation, agree to them, and sit down at the negotiating table, fix the document, Kremlin speaker Peskov. He is sure that Ukraine will have sooner or later to sit down at the negotiations table with the Russian Federation. But in his opinion, now the West does not allow Ukraine to do this. And not Russia, which destroys Ukrainian cities and people. Yeah, okay, Peskov, first of all, nobody is going to sit down at the negotiation table with you. We're going to push you out, and then you're going to completely get dissipated as a nation, and probably most of your republics are going to separate themselves, and for good reason, because they're finally going to get rights. And I understand that you're saying all of this nonsense because you guys must be scared. Like, you must be really scared right now in Russia because you see that everything, like your card house, is falling. And that's why you're saying all of this like ridiculous stuff that doesn't even make sense, because you're clearly losing. Yet for some reason you want the world to think that Ukraine owes you some sort of negotiations or owes you some sort of like talks or something like that, which is like genuinely incredibly funny to me, because the whole world sees that you're losing. You can fool Russian people within Russia that watch like all of the propaganda and RIA Novosti, but you're not fooling the world. So what are you even talking about? You're making fools of yourself. You look like idiots. You look like desperate idiots, but that's exactly what you are. Which is like sad for you, good for us, but God. Hi, Sharon. Video of the consequences of today's shelling by Russian invaders in Kramatorsk. One of the buildings of the Comfort Park Hotel was destroyed. There are no casualties as the hotel has not received visitors since the beginning of the war started by Russia in Ukraine. Israel lifts entry restrictions for Ukrainians. I welcome the decision of the Supreme Court of the State of Israel obliging to government to lift any additional restrictions on entry of citizens of Ukraine. The rule of law and respect for human rights is exactly what distinguishes a real developed democracy, Volodymyr Zelensky said on Twitter. Germany discusses with allies security guarantees for Ukraine after the end of the war. We're discussing with close allies the security guarantees we can provide. This is an ongoing process. It is clear that it will not be the same as if someone was a member of NATO, said German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. He also noted that in his opinion, the war in Ukraine will end soon. Also, I wanted to point out something that is very important that we very often overlook on social media. I see a lot of hashtags that say stop the war. Instead of hashtags that say stop the war, instead of saying stop the wars, you need to say stop Russia, because we need to name the aggressor and we need to name exactly what's happening. One of the problems with saying stop the war is because, you know, the war can be stopped by, well, the war can be stopped in a few different ways, right? It can be stopped by Ukraine giving up. It can be stopped by Ukraine surrendering. It can be stopped by Ukraine giving in to Russian demands, right? But that's not going to stop the atrocities. It's not going to stop the bloodshed. That's just going to end up, that's just going to put Ukraine into the occupation and Ukrainian people in more danger than they ever have been in. So it's very incredibly, crucially important, Heroyam Slava, to call it as it is. Not stop the war, stop Russia. Because Russia is the aggressor and Russia is responsible for everything that happens. EU plans to allocate more than 500 billion euros for the reconstruction of Ukraine after the war. Kyiv is expected to present a plan for rebuilding the country this week. The document, about 2,000 pages long, will be presented at a conference in the Swiss city of Lugano on July 4th to 5th. The plan includes a wide range of infrastructure, security, and investment projects. Ukraine has agreements and support from partners in the amount of 29 billion, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. This is in particular assistance from the EU, the US, and Canada. Separately, there is direct budgetary support from EU member states. There are grants and loans from international financial institutions, the IMF, the World Bank, and International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. All this money is enough for us to fulfill the social and humanitarian obligations of our country. We see a predictable situation by the end of the year, and we understand how we will fulfill the budget. We feel the support of our partners. This allows us to work calmly today and think about protecting Ukraine, about supporting the armed forces, Shmyhal said. In Turkey, a Russian cargo ship was detained, which transported Ukrainian grain. The ship is now standing at the entrance to the port. It has been detained by the customs authorities of Turkey. Ukrainian ambassador to Turkey, Vasil Bodnar, said on the air of the telethon. The United States will transfer 3 NASAMS missile systems to Ukraine, according to Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov. According to him, these systems will strengthen the protection of the land and sky of Ukraine. I thank President Joe Biden and my colleague, Lloyd Austin, for another significant step in support of Ukraine. The decision to supply NASAMS to the Ukrainian army. Ukraine's victory in the war against a terrorist state will ensure global security for years to come. Slovakia may transfer its MiG-29 fighter jets and Soviet-made tanks to Ukraine, said Slovak Prime Minister Eduard Geger. Both Geger and Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala noted that they were surprised at how effectively and for how long Ukraine could defend itself against an invasion by Russia, whose army on paper should be much stronger. We have all the prerequisites to believe that Ukraine will win this war, the Slovak Prime Minister said. Fiala also said that if necessary, the Czech Republic is ready to take part in the training of the Ukrainian military, which is amazing news. Amazing news. What is their government? It's not just the government, it's the Russian people as well, if that was the point. It's Russian people along with the government and as equally as responsible. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The Бомбили Бомбас crowd has showed up. Російське національне телебачення було зламано, незабаром почне пряме мовлення з України. Really? So someone is saying that Russian national TV has been hacked into and soon is going to start streaming from Ukraine. Huh. Oh, hi, Slovakia. Thank you so much. In Ukraine, the death of a family from the Kharkiv region was confirmed as a result of the morning shelling of Belgorod. This was stated by the head of the Derhachi community, Vyacheslav Zadorenko. Tonight, as a result of the actions of Russian military personnel in the city of Belgorod, the Koptelov family from Tsupivka died. This information came to us from internally displaced people. Residents of Tsupivka and other occupied settlements were forced to flee the war through Russia to European countries by any available means. Unfortunately, as we see, Russia is destroying our people in its own territory too, Zadorenko wrote. Volodymyr Zelensky met with the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese. I'm glad to welcome the Prime Minister of Australia to Kyiv. This is the first visit of the head of the Australian government to our capital in the entire history of relations between the two states. We appreciate and are grateful for your presence here with us at this time, the time of Russia's war against the Ukrainian people. 3 people died during the shelling today in the Olkhiv and Derhachi districts of the Kharkiv region, head of the RMA, Oleg Sinogubov. According to preliminary data from the Regional Center for Emergency Medical Assistance, as a result of the shelling of civilian infrastructure, 3 people were killed and 1 woman was injured. There are no significant changes in the position and nature of the activities of the armed forces of the Republic of Belarus, the main thing from the summary of the General Staff for the evening of July 3rd. In the Kharkiv direction, the invaders are focusing their main efforts on preventing the advance of our troops in the direction of the state border. In the Slaviansk direction, the invaders are focusing their main efforts on preventing the advance of our troops in the direction of the state border. In the Slaviansk direction, Ukrainian units repulsed the assault in the direction of Paseka Dolina. In the Kramatorsk direction, the enemy crossed the Seversky Donets river, trying to build on success and capture Bilohorivka. In the Lysychansk direction, the enemy carried out assault operations in the direction of Zolotarivka and took control over the settlement. In the Bakhmut direction, Ukrainian soldiers successfully repulsed offensive operations in the Nirkovo-Barastovo direction. The enemy also unsuccessfully tried to carry out reconnaissance and force in the direction of Vasilievka, Barastovo. They suffered significant losses and withdrew. On the Avdiivka, Kurakhovsky, Novopavlovsk, and Zaporizhia direction, in order to constrain the actions of Ukrainian units, the enemy launched artillery shelling. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky and Prime Minister of Australia Anthony Albanese made statements after the meeting in Kyiv and also answered the questions of media representatives. Australia supports Ukraine and provides substantial aid, including defense aid, security cooperation, and further protection of freedom were the key topics of our talks with Anthony Albanese. We also discussed the food crisis provoked by Russia, economic challenges, the need to strengthen macro-financial support for Ukraine. We appreciate Australia's readiness to join the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. Thank you for the visit and meaningful negotiations. The Prime Minister announced that Australia intends to impose sanctions against 16 more ministers of the Russian Federation and ban the import of Russian gold. This is how Lysychansk and Verkhnokamenka look like, where the Russian invaders are gradually gaining a foothold.